International Women's Day to all the women that are connected to events on our various social media platform, and to say we are going to be starting in exactly 4 minutes, so just make yourself comfortable. It's a time for us to celebrate women, to honor the women in immunization that are the front line, especially those that are making sure that immunization services continue to be offered during the COVID-19 pandemic, and also involved in the COVID-19 vaccine rollout. So see you in a short while. With me here in the Zoom room, that there is no panel of experts for this event. It's just about us listening to women to see how they ensure they are caregivers, they are healthcare providers, they are mothers, they are sisters, they are daughters, and first and foremost, above all else, they are immunization professionals, and they are joining from all continents in the world, several countries, over 35 and counting. And they are here to celebrate the International Women's Day with us. So I just want to invite you, as you're coming, just type in your city, your country, your name in the chat, whether you're joining us on Facebook or LinkedIn, Twitter or YouTube. Greetings, everyone, and warm welcome to this special event. Happy International Women's Day to all you who are joining us today. I am Charlotte Mbu from the Geneva Learning Foundation. I'm reaching out to you from Cameroon. So today is a special day, and it's the very first time we are holding an event of this type, celebrating the International Women's Day. Today we want to celebrate women who are at the front line, women who are in immunization. They are immunization professionals from the health facility level to the global level, and they are giving in, putting in efforts day in, day out to ensure that immunization services are maintained at optimal level and that immunization performances are improved. During the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, these women still continue to go ahead and do the work that they are called to do. And I am, as always, in this event with Reda Sadki, who will be, I'm probably sure, in here in the Zoom room with me, the only male. But I also want to especially greet all the women who are here with me on the panel here in the Zoom room. These are women who have shown themselves to be leaders as far as immunization is concerned, because they were involved in the COVID-19 Peer Hub. That was a community of immunization professionals that was created to ensure continuity of immunization services in the context of the pandemic, and also those who are part of the Teach to Reach global community for action. So I just want to wish you all a warm welcome. And I'm sure if you're joining us from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, I encourage you to indicate by telling us your name, your city, your country on the chat so we can recognize you. And from time to time, your messages are going to be shown on the screen.
Thank you so much, Charlotte, and welcome to all. Thank you for being the master or mistress of ceremonies today. We are indeed live streaming this across YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And in fact, the response to this, the announcement of this event has been amazing. Just a couple of hours before the event, we had already reached almost 10,000 people on Facebook. There were almost 500 comments before the event even started, and there's a stream of comments that we haven't even begun to acknowledge yet. I do want to point you, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to copy and paste or sort of recopy this link fast enough, but I'll show you what this is about. This is called a Padlet, and we have prepared 5 questions. Charlotte is going to go through them, and we're going to have a number. There's a small group of women working in immunization who are graduates of the Teach to Reach and COVID-19 Peer Hub, and who are in the room with us, are going to be sharing their experience. But you also get to share your experience. As Charlotte said, there is no expert panel that's going to explain things to you. This is really about sharing experience. You can see there's quite a few testimonials already coming in via the stream. And just to frame this a little bit, this is from a group called Holland IQ, and it was interesting because it brought together the 2 areas where we focus at the Geneva Learning Foundation: the healthcare workforce, which is 70% women, and with respect to education, public school teachers, 3/4 of whom are women. You can see, so both from the education side and the public health side, this is of concern to us for the Geneva Learning Foundation. Charlotte, back to you. I believe we have 5 questions. Could you tell us a little bit about these? And let's dive in and hear from some of the women in the room.
Exactly, Reda. Those 5 questions that we really wanted to get the women to share their experiences of how it is like as a woman in immunization, working in their context, and then look at a little bit about at the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on immunization services, its impact on the day-to-day working of the work of the women that are involved in immunization services. So basically, I don't really want to talk much, rather these questions have been shared on the chat. So if you are here, you can just go ahead, attempt answering the questions. And also I'm going to invite, we are going to start with Amel Atai. She's an active member of the scholar community who was actively involved in ensuring that immunization services are maintained in her context during the COVID-19 pandemic. So Amel, if you can unmute yourself, okay, so the 5 questions so that Amel can rapidly go through, because I want to listen to as many women as possible today. So hi, Amel, please, can you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're joining from.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Charlotte, for giving a chance. And very happy International Women's Day to all the women's. And we wish the same to Rida and the other men as well. So, my name is Amel. I'm from Sudan. I'm working as technical officer with WHO supporting polio program in Pakistan. So today I will, as I'm given the chance, I will go within less than 3 minutes to answer all the questions so the other colleagues they may have the opportunity to talk. So looking into the COVID context, when it started, uh, in March, I remember the area where I was based called Quetta in Balochistan province. And even this picture is showing exactly the polio campaign was going on. Then we heard that the first COVID case was reported in our area. So I do remember we investigated one of the positive polio case, and I met a mother, and she was really, really disappointed because of her fault. She couldn't vaccinate her child. She was refusing for some reason because the husband was not agreeing for vaccination. Then I remember I shared my contact number and we had deep conversation with her about the immunization and how it is important to protect her children. Then in April, I remember she texted me saying that now there is COVID and my child already infected, and they have another 5 children who are under 2 years old. So she was asking for advice and support what she can do now, because if we remember, I guess in many of the countries, they have shut down most of the immunization centers, especially in those areas where I was working. Then I do remember I called the DHO, the one who is looking after the health system over there, and we start thinking that okay, since those refusal women now they are really interesting to vaccinate and they know that the importance of the vaccination, let's go and just at least in the big hospitals we have to continue our vaccinations and also putting all the precautions and everything. So that one of the things I was really happy in that time, despite of the challenges we have, the COVID situation, and most of the information was not clear when we started the pandemic. So that was one of the example, and actually there are many, many. Just I will take this one. Now moving to the second question. How has COVID affected your daily life? I'm one of those who are really badly affected because I'm based in non-family duty station, and my family is in Saudi Arabia. Then they ban all the flights. I stayed in my duty station for 8 months. And usually in normal situation, we do travel home every 6 weeks. So that was really terrible time for me. But always, Charlotte, I believe that in our difficult situation, we come up with really many, many lessons learned. I have learned a lot of things. And my personal part of that, professional and personal life, I'm having a child who is 8 years old. So it was really difficult calling, trying to adjust to the situation, and there is no solution. You have to be there. And moreover, I remember I was with 5 international staff. All of them, the 4 were men, and all were aged. So they were above 50. The management, they decided to take them out as medical evacuation, and they said, because you are the youngest one, you have to stay. So that was really difficult. But anyhow, I have learned, I managed because there is many things. Being a leader also, to lead your own team, despite your own issues, is something really not an easy. I remember when my colleagues, they used to come to me, Madam, how are you surviving? We are men, but we could not manage, and you are not with family. But always, always, if you focus, you put all your issues, you can come through and you will learn many, many things. I would say thanks God now there is vaccine, and
Sorry, Amel, you have to unmute yourself, please. That's great.
yeah, fine. So, Charlotte, the third question, what would happen if you woke up one morning and there were no women working in immunization? So, let's not create an issue between us and reader groups. So, but my comment on that question, the immunization I have seen because I work in my country in Sudan and now the area where I'm working.
Vaccination
I have
sites.
I have
Agency sites.
seen
Most of
the
this is
Please, I would
sorry.
like to invite you to mute yourself if you're not talking. Sorry for that. Amel, please go ahead.
Yeah. So what I would like to say, women's they have the patience to work. They are not in hurry like men. And one of the advantage of the recruiting the females, especially in immunization field, I would say is more really you can get more benefits from that because they will be able to access the houses in the area where they are some conservative community who are not allowing the males to enter their houses. A female always my personal feeling when we see especially in Pakistan and this area Afghanistan, whenever I see a child who is really having the polio virus, I do always recall and consider him or her as my own child. So that feeling, the emotional we have as female, I feel it will help. It really it will help. But that does not mean that men they will not work and all. They are not working. They are very good men and they are our colleagues and friends and family members. So now moving to the fourth question. Okay, now I'm technical officer providing some technical support to my own team. If I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm a man, what will be the difference? In my context, the difference will be I will not have the access to enter the houses in the area where I'm based. I'm talking about that practical experience. Number two, one of the advantages, and I feel that is really it helped me to empower the national females who are working in the area. Always they look at you as a role model for them. You are the one always support and tell them you can do. There is no difference between men and women. You have to do the same job, and always we are emphasizing that since we are working for the UN agencies, there is no difference at all. So if I wake up morning, I will not be happy to continue in Pakistan because I know this is one of my strengths. Always I do tease my colleagues and say that I'm the best because I feel I can enter all the houses. Over to you, Charlotte.
Thank you very much, Amel. And I'm so glad that in spite everything you went through, being far from your family, you still kept your smile. So keep smiling. And so we are going to move directly and thank you, Reda, for the applause. And I just want to say we are delighted as women, and I'm sure Amel is delighted to share that applause with the men that are also working in immunization. All right, so I'm going to turn now to Hawa Abbas, who is going to be the next to share her experience as a woman, and she's going to answer the 5 questions. So Hawa, if you can unmute yourself, you have the floor. And the questions are on the screen.
So Charlotte, I've had to remove the unmute possibility from just because there's so much. Let me do that again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's ask Howard to unmute.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Hawa Abbas, as Charlotte said. I am based in Nigeria. I work with an organization called Silver Lining for the Needy Initiative. I'm the founder. So I'm going to attempt to answer all the questions quickly so that others can get a chance. The first question would be, can you think of an individual woman? So there was a lady I met a few years back, and she had lost in a community, rural community, and she had lost 5 children. And I felt like this was a woman who was very strong, and she wasn't educated. And so we had to educate her about the importance of immunization. She had 2 surviving children left. Now, since then, this happened a few years ago, she's been able to be an advocate for us within the community. The challenges she faces, like all women in her community, is that there is no primary healthcare center in her community, which makes things extremely difficult for them because they do not have access to healthcare, access to medical professionals. How has COVID affected them? Again, they don't have access to medical professionals, but they've been able to follow COVID guidelines, wear masks, educate other women in the communities and men in the communities, the importance of wearing masks, hand washing, etc., to be able to ensure that they stay safe. The second question, how has COVID affected your life? Well, I'm a COVID survivor. I had COVID last year in September. From COVID, it led to pneumonia. From pneumonia, I just had to shut down. I'm a workaholic, but I had to shut down because my body just could not take too much work. During COVID, even though I shut down, I still managed to be able to do my Teach to Reach courses as best as I could. Although I did not feel like I gave my best because obviously I wasn't medically strong. Again, with the professional life, it slowed me down a lot because I'm used to going here, working up and down. I was in the FCT task force for COVID. And so I had worked a lot prior to September 2020 when I actually had to shut down. What would happen if you wake up one morning, there were no women in immunization? Well, the first thing we would have to do is advocacy and try and gather women in communities, educate them, and then bring them to immunization, because without women, it's really very impossible to have an effective immunization effort, especially in a space where religion and culture is very, very high. You need women to be able to access other women and the children as well. Question 4, if you woke up in the morning and you held the same job and function, but you were now a man, what would you do different? Well, I will focus on the men. If I was a man, I will focus on the men, talking to the traditional leaders, talking to the men in the community, the chiefs, the youth. That will be my focus as a man, to get more men involved in immunization so that we can reach more people as well. Because again, in a country like Nigeria, and I'm sure so many other places around the continent, when we do not have men involved, women don't have permission to be able to give their children immunization. They don't have permission to be able to even leave the house. So men are very important. They're key in this struggle and this fight that we're trying to work on. Question 5, would you be interested in taking part? Definitely, I'll be interested. Based on time and schedule, I'll make sure that I make myself available. Thank you very much, Charlotte and Reed, for getting me involved and giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much, Hawa. It was great to listen to you. And Reda, before I turn towards the next lady that will share her experience, I just want to recognize the presence of Dr. Anne Lindstrand from WHO IVB and Carolina Danovaro, who are both here in the room with us. So you're welcome, Anne. Okay, so I'm sure in a short while towards the end, we'll have to give you the opportunity to address the women who are here, you who works at the global policy making level. So I'm going to turn now to Satabdi Mitra from India. India has already introduced the COVID-19 vaccine and has already gone a long way. So I'll really be delighted to listen to Satabdi, who was actively involved in this activity from the outset. Satabdi, over to you.
Thank you, Reda. Thank you, Charlotte, and everybody present here. I'm very delighted to be present in this on this auspicious day today. That is the International Women's Day. I would like to tell very few words because one thing that within few minutes I have some other International Women's Day seminar. And the thing that I have one of my colleagues, she is a single mother, and she works hard, and especially during the COVID days, she worked a lot during in my institution. She worked really hard for her institution, for the patients, as well as for the after the vaccine introduction also. And beside this, she, days after days, she could not go to home. Her child, she is a bit mentally retarded, and she stays with her mother. But despite all the things, she could manage. And sometimes we also, from our part, also made contacts with the child, and her mother somehow later on managed to go home. And so for the single mothers, not only for the single mothers, everybody who are the working, maybe some people who are non-working also have to face challenges, not only during the pandemic. Being a lady still now in our society in India, it is very difficult for a woman to manage everything. That is the different adolescent issues, the different womanhood issues, and managing all the things. People have to go and walk forward. And one thing I like to mention that yes, I am always there to be the part of the if any coming on courts involving the females. And I'm also very much thankful to all the males who around us and in the society who help us, support us. So this all from me now. Thank you. Thank you, Charlotte, once again, and wishing happy Women's Day to you and all the wonderful women in this platform, as well as our male colleagues.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Satabji, and wish you the happy Women's Day too, and the best with your next call. So before I turn towards the next lady who will share her experience, I'd just like to recognize all of you who are leaving wonderful comments on our various social media platforms. That's Facebook. Reda, can you just maybe read out one or two comments that you find quite pertinent before we turn towards Joyce Murithi, and also those who are answering the questions on
Thanks, Charlotte. It's actually, it's quite interesting. We set up what's called a Padlet. So that's a platform that really lets you crowdsource responses to questions, and everyone can see the questions in real time. So there are many questions coming in here. There's one that really struck me, which was that one person said, COVID-19 affected my daily life and family. I lost my job, no social life for the entire family. Price of goods and services have skyrocketed, living in fear of the unknown, who to go close to. And this is, of course, an immunization professional speaking. These are anonymous. I think that's part of what we were hoping to sort of instill in terms of people being able to express themselves clearly. Let me just flash the, now it's a little bit, you'll find the link if you look for it in the comments, but there's so many comments coming in, it may be difficult to find this one. It's padlet.com/TGLF/IWD 2021 immunization. I'm so sorry, that's so complicated, but there's some wonderful comments and many people saying hello and sending their greetings for International Women's Day. Back to you, Charlotte.
Okay, thank you very much, Reda. And right now I'm going to turn towards Joyce Murithi. So Joyce, I'm inviting you to unmute yourself and you tell us who you are, where you work, and answer the questions. And by the way, you're looking very good in Women's Day regalia.
Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Rida. Thank you, everyone else. Happy International Women's Day. I'm calling from the US, Maryland, and my name is Joyce Murithi. I appreciate the Geneva Learning Foundation having this day to recognize women and amplifying the role of women in global health and immunization, and especially the role that women have played in preventing and controlling the COVID-19. When I think of the first question, can you think of an individual? I have met many women as I participated in the work of COVID-19, self-testing, and vaccination. And some of them are caregivers to their children, others are caregivers to their parents, to their elderly relatives, disabled relatives, and so on. The one woman I'm going to speak about today is a woman who is single. This woman is divorced, and this woman has 3 children. She has a house to pay for and rent, and she's also in charge of her relatives, like I said. She used to have after-school daycare facilities for her children, but with the COVID and the closures, she cannot take her children to the YMCA facility. And now she has the elderly parents at her home. She's going through divorce, she has children. It was very difficult for her. So she has used different resources within her community to be able to help herself to bounce back. And some of her strength is that she's very resilient. She's hardworking, and she nurtures her health and the health of her people. And she's also concerned about the health of her community. So she made sure that everybody is isolated and social distancing and using the masks and all that, what needed to be done. But one of the things that she did to be able to survive during this time was to get one of her cousins to come to her house so that she can be able to continue working. And this other relative can take care of her elderly parents and also her children. This woman also is very compassionate, very empathetic, because she was also caring of her, about her neighbors. She was talking about how she was sharing food with her neighbors. And because I'm in the northern part of the country, it was winter time, she was also helping in removing the snow for these elderly people. So we can see a woman who has a lot of responsibility. And this is not just the woman in this particular part of the world. All over, even in other countries, we have women taking care of themselves, taking care of their own families, and also extending their compassion and passion for ensuring that their communities are healthy and also that are surviving to their neighbors. What I gathered from this woman is that she's a great leader to be able to manage her elderly parents, her cousin, the relatives around, and she's also going through divorce. She must have been a leader. That is what we women are. And this is what we women are bringing into the work of immunization. She's a teacher. She has also been teaching her community, her children, and her family about staying healthy at this particular time. This was an important thing because during this time of COVID, there was so much information, very conflicting. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know why we need to wear masks. We didn't know why we need to keep washing our hands all the time. sometimes those resources are very scarce. She was an educator. That is who women are in our families and in our community. Even as she tried to do all this, there were challenges. And I probably will talk about challenges that are related to this particular woman or generally for women. We have had so many messages in the social media, and this was a challenge in itself to know what we need to do. Some people are saying we don't need to wear the masks. Others are saying we don't need to do this. We don't need to do that. And it was conflicting to learn or to know what is the exact thing to do. When the vaccine was available, there was a lot of information, different information about the vaccine, about the adverse effects. And these facts and myths were a challenge in themselves. We have culture and religion that also we have had to go through. And I'll talk of a different participant that I met that had challenges with their religion, especially when the vaccine was available. And they were told one of the vaccine is made from, stem cells of, I don't want to get into the details of that, but from fetal stem cells. And these people, because of their religion and pro-life belief, they were affected on how they are going to provide the services, the vaccination. And they felt like they cannot offer that vaccine to the people because their moral and ethical values are not related to what is happening. That is a huge thing. And they had to discuss as a family. It was a family feud because the husband decided, no, it can be done. The wife decided, I cannot do it. And these are the challenges that women go through. I know somebody mentioned about this. Even when it comes to vaccinating our children, they are the same issues we are facing. If my husband does not believe in vaccination, I cannot do it. So as a woman, I have the role of educating my husband, being empathetic, being in his shoes, and trying to understand where he's coming from, and even being submissive so that you can be able to pass on that information to be able to reach the goal. Because women are the antennas of health in their families. So that is an important thing. If you leave your child with your husband and your child starts to have fever, your husband will not know how to deal with it. They will not even recognize. They will not even recognize.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joyce. I see in your responses you have already started, you said putting yourself in the man's shoes, attempting to answer the food and the feed question. So I really want to thank you. We are already going over time, and there are many other people who want to listen to. So I'm just trying to check if Anne Lindstrand is still with us. Meanwhile, Reda, you said there are some interesting comments that you'd like to share. So over to you, Reda.
Yes, indeed. So we've got, I want to remind everyone, there is the Padlet, which is a little bit complicated to get to, and I think we have to extend, given the number of comments we're receiving, we have to extend this event a little bit. Padlet.com/TGLF/IWD 2021 immunization. Apologies for the very long link, but this is what you will get to. You'll see testimonials from all over the world from women who are responding to these 5 questions, in addition to the people in the room. Now, the 3 comments that I wanted to share is one is from Rebecca Gatu, who says, I salute all refugee and immigrant women who, despite fleeing their countries, have continued to ensure that their children access immunization services. I wanted to highlight Yin Yin Ete, who says, I'm happy to join this wonderful event, especially on International Women's Day. And there are literally dozens of messages like Yin Yin's. Hawa Buhari, I flashed her comment before, but she says, I'm glad to be a woman, one with a voice, and I say yes to immunization and community health. And then Raul Saho, who says, women will always be preferred to offer vaccination services in some communities in areas hit by war or other crisis. Population and parents will have more trust in women than men offering the same services.
wonderful comments. Really, thank you. A special thanks to all those who are sharing these comments with us, and also all those who are here in the Zoom room. So many interesting comments on the chat, and I want to share this comment with us from Dr. Anne Strand, WHO IVB, who unfortunately had to leave. She says, "Dearest immunization sisters, I need to leave and work on our COVAX work." Fantastic to hear. Fantastic to hear all that which you have to share. And and many other comments like hers are so interesting. So right now we are going to listen to another experience from Martha Ngoe from Cameroon. Martha, if you're hearing me, I'd like to invite you to unmute yourself. So let me just invite, okay. Martha.
Hi, Charlotte. Hi, all the women.
Hi, Martha.
Okay, thank you. I'm really happy to be part of. Hi, Charlotte. Please, can you get me?
Yes, 5 on 5, Martha.
Okay, so thank you for giving me this opportunity, and greeting to all the women and also to the man in the room, Reda. Thank you for the opportunity. So going very fast, the kind of woman that I'm talking about today is that woman. I love working in the royal setting, just because I look at that woman who does not know how to read and write yet. She's very, very committed to see her baby receiving till the last shot. So that is a woman who even, no matter the season, be it rainy season or dry season, if the outreach does not fall on a day that her child needs to take the next shot, that woman treks 5 kilometers and beyond just to go to the next health facility to have a shot for that child, because she wants her child to be free from vaccine-preventable diseases. Her strength is that no matter what, no matter her activity, she's in a typical royal setting, but yet she knows that her baby needs to be healthy and that vaccines can contribute to the healthiness of her baby. And the challenges she faces, first of all, the women in the typical royal setting, they are all farmers. They had to leave early in the morning to go to their farms before the sun rises with their babies on their back, and then come back just in the evening and prepare food for the family so that they can have dinner. But on a day like this woman would prefer to forgo her farming work and then go straight to the trek the whole day just to go and have that shot. So it's really challenging for that mother, because first of all, the facility is far away from her, but yet she does not take anything for granted. She makes sure she forgoes any other socioeconomic activity just to ensure that that child receives till the last dose. How has she been affected by the COVID-19? In my own setting, we have a double penalty. It's not just the COVID-19, plus also the insecurity. So there are some times that the vaccines may not be able to reach this woman on time for the time that she's expecting that her baby have the next shot. But nevertheless, the baby may have a catch-up dose, although it might not be at the time that she might want, and this kept the woman disturbed. COVID-19 has affected my daily life and my family, because even during the lockdown where the schools were closed, I just had to look at my children around the house, my siblings, and say, what is the future of this generation with the COVID? But we thank God, things are coming back to normal. And for my professional life, I don't really enjoy staying in the office. I enjoy going to the rural area, to go to the field to see what is really happening there. And because of the COVID, we really don't go all the time to see what is happening there. But we have been working remotely and ensuring that work is going on well. If I wake up one morning, I don't find women immunization, I will not be happy, because women are already peers to other women that they give that shot to them. Women knows how to tell stories. A woman may be discouraged or have a challenge to come for the shot for a baby, but just because another woman is there to tell her the story of how her baby survived because of the vaccine, the shot the baby she gave to her baby, this woman will be encouraged. So we'll always advocate that women should be on the decks because they can tell stories to their fellow women. If I get up one morning and I'm a man, what will be different? I think if I'm a man, I will also advocate for other men to feel the way, although it's nature that has made it, to feel the way women feel for other children, even if they are not their biological children, to feel just the way, because what I feel most when I'm in the field, I feel as if that baby is my baby and it is very important. So I think I will have to feel the same and also encourage my fellow men to have that same feeling. Yes, I'll be interested to take the practical course on that because I know Geneva Learning Foundation and other platforms, they are there to promote immunization activities, and it will be very interesting for me to take the course. Thank you, and over.
Thank you, Martha. Martha, before you go, so I'll just about to say, Martha, before you go, please, can you just kindly introduce yourself, tell us where you work and what you do?
Okay.
Martha? Yeah.
Okay, thank you a lot. Sorry for not mentioning that. I'm Martha Ngwe from Boya, Cameroon. I've worked with the EPI coaching as a coaching manager and recently as Bureau Chief for International Vaccines and Traveling Medicine. Thank you, over.
Really,
And we
once
have
again, thank you.
Raul,
Yes,
in fact, thank you, Martha. Raul says, Martha, my colleague, this is the kind of female leader needed to boost the vaccination. Keep on, Martha. And those of us who know her would concur. But don't forget to introduce yourself, as not everyone knows everyone here.
Okay, so Reda, we just have under 3 minutes before the end, and I'm looking at so many comments. I don't want us to go without actually recognizing some of the comments that are shared by the women that are here with me in the Zoom room. And I see there is Aminata Nuni that is taking out the time to answer the questions here in Zoom. Question one, she said, I met a woman who is very passionate and determined to ensure that her children get vaccinated. She walks over 7 kilometers to reach the health facility to get her children vaccinated. She's a trader who contributes significantly to the upkeep of her family, but still prioritizes her children's health. And for question two, she says, COVID-19 has significantly altered my daily life as I now seem to have more work as we have a lot of virtual meetings to attend, even when you have your routine work to do. Also have to attend virtual trainings, which is just not the same as face-to-face trainings, particularly with internet challenges. So thank you, Aminata. I'm sure you're still typing out the rest of the questions, but I just thought it important to recognize you. And listening to all of the women here today, I think it's important that we should give a round of applause to all the women who have commented. So Miss Sanya, wonderful comments left on the chat, Reda, those who are commenting on Facebook, and those who are answering our questions.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Much to everyone's dismay, we explain, just to explain why we keep even this event short, is because we know how busy you are. This event was not a panel of experts. It was a panel of women working every day in immunization. Right now, many of you are involved in COVID-19 vaccine introduction and in keeping immunization services going throughout the pandemic. So a round of applause indeed seems to be less than what we should be doing to honor you. Thank you to all those of you who answered the 5 questions. You are welcome to do so after and beyond this event to keep the conversation going. And the address is a little bit complicated, but it's on padlet.com. We'll be posting it on the social media platforms. I think that is it for now. La séance avec les francophones va commencer dans 15 minutes. With the francophones, it's in a few minutes. Yes, indeed, we'll be sharing the messages in a little bit, doing a little bit of a rewind, not as long as usual. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for pulling this together so quickly.
Thank you very much, Reda. It was a huge pleasure for me to get to share this moment with all of the women that share a passion for immunization like me. And once again, happy International Women's Day to you all.